Hello, Coach Magazine global audience. We are here again after a technical issue. Before we had a little problem with the first attempt. Now, hopefully, you can hear both of us. Today, my guest is Katia Tandon, and she is a professional psychologist with an extensive business experience. She is providing professional business, team, and agile coaching to individuals and companies. She is IT, agile leadership, team, and career development coach, mentor, psychologist, and trainer. Welcome, Katia. How are you today?
Uh, Hi, Seda. Hi, everyone. Thank you for having me today. And yeah, I feel fine. And right before we actually went live right now, I was thinking that it's ironic and funny at the same time that we had the issue, right? The technical issue. I'm working in the IT company, and actually that got me thinking that what I'm trying to teach my team members, the people from my company, is agility, and agility is actually ability not to stress out in a stressful situations. So I think this is a perfect start for our talk today.
You did a great job. Exactly. As my guest, I was freaking out. Oh my God, this is not good. What's happening? I was the one who is freaking out. But as an agile coach, you were so calm, not freaking out like me. So thank you for that.
Technology can always go wrong, but we can always fix it. So
That's
I hope that you will also be calmer right now that everything is working. So
Yeah, I'm glad that now we can hear each other, so I can ask my question and we can hear your answers. So let's start.
okay, let's start.
Okay, my first question. How did you become a coach? What was your first encounter with coaching?
Oh, that is a very good question. I actually was hearing about coaching right when I was graduating from my psychological faculty. But back then, I was quite inexperienced, very young, and I decided that a good coach. I didn't ask anyone. I just thought like that by totally by my own. I thought that a good coach has to have some work and some life experience. So somewhere mentally, I made this mental note. Okay, coaching exists, but I'm too young. I will come back to that after some time, after I will get some experience. And indeed, after getting experience from different domains, after becoming a mother, after we actually all the whole world went to a lockdown, coaching and psychology came into my life again, and that was basically this time of when we couldn't go anywhere, couldn't travel. I took on the coaching education, coaching trainings
Mhm.
to become, who or to start the journey to where I am right now.
Yeah.
So that in dates, it gives me what I think it was end of the year 2020.
Okay. Yeah, most of us probably in the world, with the lockdown, with what's going on in the world, try to find ourselves a exit way or an opening way. What are we gonna do now, and what's going on here? And also, we went inside mostly. That's what's going on inside. It's inner work. All these things brought us to this beautiful arena. So we are here.
So yeah, maybe we should just thank lockdown and
Yes.
pandemic.
Yes. Well, I do
It was
actually.
a very big life changer, right?
Yes, it was. I'm asking this question all of my interviews, in my coaching approaches in different countries in interviews for the magazine, and everyone is going through something or went through something through the pandemic, and never gonna be the same again. With this hybrid working, not face to face coaching anymore, or you know it's just new era, so we are adapting ourselves to that.
Indeed, indeed.
Yeah.
And it basically the new ways of work allow us as coaches collaborate with our coaches all over the world. We're not anymore located only just in our city or in our country, right?
It is great for me. So, because 2.5 years ago, I moved from Turkey to UK, and I can coach my Turkish clients still from here. I don't have to fly back and forth, and it wouldn't, worth it. Like the plane cost doesn't give me the exact amount with my coaching prices. So, it is a very good
Exactly.
thing. Exactly, the technology, internet, this Zoom calls, webinars, everything, and also the workshops. It's amazing reaching out everybody around the world.
Yeah, that is true. That is true, and it's also it's very convenient for our clients as well. That's what I'm getting as a feedback because, like for example, a couple of my clients were traveling, but they didn't want to stop coaching, and they were connecting from all over the Europe, from India, from everywhere.
Yes, wow. We'll get to that point in my other questions. But my second question is, in your coaching practice, you emphasize the importance of observing situations with a fresh perspective. Could you elaborate on how you create an environment where clients feel comfortable sharing their challenges, and how you facilitate the process of guiding them towards new insights and solutions?
Oh, that's a um, very good question and very hard at the same time, right? I think it's a combination of all the competencies or what ICF states the competencies for coaching. It's how do you create as a coach create the safe space, the safe environment for the client to little by little to open up in front of you. The way you listen to the person, right? The way you empathize and looking at his or her situation without judgment, with um, the natural curiosity. Uh, of course, it's easier said than done. So it it happens over the time, right? What I've even at work, in private work or in my corporate work, I noticed that people are not heard very often. They lack just someone sit down, listen to them, or active listening. Even a higher step, right? So by listening a person, being curious about their situation, this is the initial, and this is how the initial trust is built. Apologies, I think someone is driving very fast outside of the building. Apologies for the sound.
It's okay.
Yeah, so basically, I rely very much on these competencies from the ICF, and I think by just mastering these non-judgmental approach, active listening, and this natural curiosity about the person. This allows me to, to create this partnership, the trust, and this is how my clients are able to open up not only to me but actually to themselves in my presence.
Yes, it is very important. What you said at last, to open up to themselves is kind of another issue. Yeah, if you can't open up to yourself at first, how can you tell that to another person? If you, well, yeah, the presence is also another key competence, as you said, to be there to witness that the silence, the acceptance, everything. And you have all the tools from your psychological background. With the coaching, probably it even becomes perfect.
Yeah, you're right. I was actually surprised when I was studying coaching. In the group, there were different people with different backgrounds, and some of them were actually struggling in executing, just silence, executing the presence, and I realized how lucky I am with my first degree, because for me it became already natural. So I didn't even, let's say, study it formally. It was part of my behavior, whereas other people had to pay a lot of attention on these particular attributes.
Yes. Yes, yes, yes. I entered a workshop here in the UK about listening, and they only talked about two issues of listening. One was appreciating what you are listening because somebody is sharing a very personal thing about themselves to you. First key was the appreciation, and the second one was mirroring, like saying the same exact same things that without any judgment, any addition, nothing from you, but only their words, but in your understanding with your words, the same thing. And when they took us to the breakout rooms, and when we were experiencing that moment for you talking 2 minutes, the other two people listening to you, then they do this appreciation and mirroring thing. And one of our group members was, she didn't want to speak anything, she didn't want to tell anything, so we sit with her silence. And it was an amazing experience for me, an amazing practice for listening, because we are struggling to listen in silence, right? So you have a very good advantage with the psychological background here, I think.
Um, yeah, well, you're talking, and I'm having goosebumps, right? Like, not say anything for 2 minutes and be able to be comfortable in this silence, appreciating the will of the third person to not share anything. This is the biggest challenge for us listeners rather than for that person who just sits there.
Exactly. Yeah, it was a life-changing experience for me. Everyone, I'm always talking about this in any workshop, in any type of gatherings that I have the chance. Okay, let's do this. It's a good exercise.
Yeah, yeah, I bet it is. It's amazing that you had this experience.
Yeah, it was about a psychological. What was it? It was about listening. I thought, why not enter this? Yeah, let's go for it. And you came together with the people you don't even know before. Like 26 of us was there, and yeah, it was the facilitators are very experienced, so they know what to do. They explained it at the beginning, and they shared their personal stories also with us, and so it make it a very role play, and then we know what to do in the breakout rooms. It's good. Okay.
Wow.
My next question. So you work with clients to implement less principles in their companies. Could you explain how you approach introducing these principles and methodologies, and what impact you've observed on teams and organizations as a result of your coaching?
Um, well, that's quite a long question, and I would like to maybe start and tell to our audience what is less.
Yes, please.
Right. So less is a large scale Scrum. It is the methodology framework used in the software development in IT, and the goal for it, the goal this framework has is to deliver working valuable pieces of software on a regular basis. Precision, transparency, and basically predictability is the main things which are important when you talking about the software development. So the less large scale Scrum is based on the Scrum principle and or Scrum framework, and Scrum framework is about planning, executing, analyzing, and or delivering and analyzing on the results and planning again. So it's like it's about cycles of development with a certain retrospective on how the work was done. Usually companies want to implement that this different approach, these different frameworks. They are coming from the very traditional project management approach, waterfall approach. And the difference the difference is when the companies are working in the old style. Let's say they have a silos of people work in different departments and do not interfere in between departments. So you can think of that as designers are working only with designers. Programmers are working only with programmers. Testers who test the software after it's been designed and coded, they are testing. But these people are not talking to each other. So when a company decides to implement Scrum or Less or any other agile methodology or agile framework, they completely need to change everything. They need to change the way they're working. They need to, let's say, cut the silos like that and combine people from different departments into one team. So imagine out of three different departments, you get one team with one developer, several programmers, several testers. So you put them into one room, virtually or physically, and they work on one small piece of code, piece of some feature to make it better and to develop and deliver it in the end of depends of a sprint of 2 weeks or sprint of 4 weeks to the customer. So out of nowhere, the customer will get something what is working, hopefully. This mindset, it it is said very easily, right? Just like put people into the same room, change them, let them go. The only thing is that people are creatures of habits, and if for the longest time in their lives, professional lives, they've been working in a certain way, it's very, very hard to change into something different, like 180 degrees different. So the work actually comes here when we need to explain to individuals, sometimes in teams, sometimes in one on ones, what are the benefits, how can it improve the work, what they personally will gain. That is that is quite a time consuming and energy consuming thing, because personal, how do you call it, personal issues come out. Someone is afraid, someone is afraid to talk to other people, for example, those who I don't know. Other people are not comfortable changing the status quo. So as I speak, you probably notice that this is actually not only business oriented coaching, but also personality oriented coaching. How you might become with this different way of working. What can what can be valuable for you in this way? How can you improve yourself, your work? How can you help your colleagues and clients? So this is all this is all what I'm working in the company environment. And the question was quite long, so if I didn't answer something, just remind me, please, because I might have forgotten.
So yeah, you probably talked about the methodologies and the impact you observed on teams as the personal issues come out. You said about that, and organizations as a result of your coaching. You maybe you can give an example without giving any specifics, but sometimes coaching helped this team to go further like this.
Yeah, thank you. What I see in my teams is the whole goal of an agile coach or a scrum master is to help the team to become self-organizing. Self-organizing means that they do not need a manager, they do not need someone who will stand above them telling them what to do. They will take the initiative by themselves. They will not wait to be put in the certain situation. They will they will say when something is not working rather than waiting until it will disappear by itself. So what is happening with coaching is that team members become more responsible, more involved in the work. They're not afraid to take the authority of not authority is not the right word, ownership for the thing. For example, something is not working, I will not just complain that it's not working. No, I will make an action, make an effort, and make sure this will work, rather than just complain for forever to the management or to the colleagues. They develop leadership skills, and many of these of the team members have grown from junior to middle position, from middle to senior, just by cooperating with each other and implementing those values which agile promotes as well.
Yes, it is amazing how a stumbling a team starts with you while they are getting coached, and then how they continue their team up and how they own their work and the responsibilities, be the leader that they're supposed to be. It is amazing. Yeah.
That is true, and their even team members are learning to coach their peers. They most probably do it uh, subconsciously. They don't know that they're coaching, but they pose difficult coaching questions, and that is working.
Yes.
So that is
Yes.
an amazing part. This is the part I love the most.
So humans, you said that people of habits, also, against the status quo, but at the same time, people are, very good at adapting, mirroring, especially in this so rapidly changing environment of business and world. What else we can do unless we adapt? We just stay behind, do nothing,
Adapt or
or
die.
yeah. Yeah. So you have a professional, both business and psychological backgrounds. How do you strike a balance between addressing the business needs of your clients and providing them with emotional support and guidance? Could you share maybe a strategy you use to ensure this holistic development in your coaching engagements?
Um, that is, I think this is very uh,
Interconnected.
interconnected. Exactly. We bring our personality to work, and then in the evening, we bring our problems home.
Mm,
Um, if I would bring an example, I will bring an example from today. Earlier in the morning, I had a coaching slash mentoring session with a um, with a colleague from one of our teams, and this colleague was trying to improve the situation in the team. Said that was thinking about the situation for 2 or even maybe 3 weeks, trying to, think this way and that way, and couldn't find a solution.
mhm,
So they brought the situation. We discussed that. I said, okay, I see this and that, and I asked some questions, and I said that I can give a solution as at least one, what I see as a mentor. Uh, and the solution I brought actually was very nice. My colleague liked it a lot, but then it brought a question to them that they cannot do it because of their personal situation, personal standpoint. They're not assertive enough.
mm,
This colleague cannot confront many people, cannot stand behind what they think. And and they looked at me and smiled and said, "Yeah, I think this is my personal issue, and I need to first work on it." And for me, this is such a nice example how we actually cannot leave our personality behind the door and say, okay, I'm very professional, I'm at work. Yes, we are very professional, but we are who we are. And without working on our personal issues, we cannot be effective at work.
mhm.
This is, I think that's it, right?
Exactly. Yeah, there are sometimes barriers that limiting beliefs that we have in business. Sometimes we don't have that in our personal life, or vice versa. We have these problems with our personal relationships out of the work, but we are so professional in the working environment. We go for it. Nothing prevents or limits us in the work. So yeah, it changes, and we need to take every situation as it is unique in its own environment with every person, because every person has their own unique problems or limiting beliefs. Even though there are some patterns, you might call it understanding, this is that, this is this, but it applies differently for each individual. Yeah.
Yeah, that is true. That is true, and it's interesting, right? As you said, the same person can have some issues in communication in personal life and not have it at work. So, and not even realize that that is a pattern, right? And in coaching, the coach as a neutral person, as an observer, can just notice that and show it to a person, right? And ask like, why is that so? Right? And this is how the thinking process, the analyzing process starts.
Yeah, asking powerful questions. It brings out the problems that we don't even realize, right? It's like, oh my God,
Exactly.
I haven't think about it before. Let's think about it. So if you don't think about it, or if you don't address the issue, how you can think about it? So that's how the coaching intervenes. Yeah.
Exactly.
So I forgot to tell you that you are joining us from Czech Republic. My next question is about this cultural differences. You worked in a different cultural context, having been born in Moscow, now living in Czech Republic, while being married to an Indian, suppose. How has your exposure to these diverse cultures influenced your coaching style and your ability to connect with clients from various backgrounds?
Uh, this is my so far my favorite question. The most favorite. I do love to travel.
Mhm.
I do like to, even when I'm going for a short while, try to learn a couple of words of the country I go. Um, Learn a little bit, maybe stereotypical, but still to get some understanding of where am I going, um, what is there, right? So that all allows me to broaden my understanding of how people are outside of my tiny little world. And I think this combination of being Russian, naturalized Czech, married to an Asian person, allows me uh, to see that there are more than just one right way of doing things. Um, Something what might be very strange for me might be very normal in a different part of the world, and I will be strange for them.
Mhm.
So I'm not saying that I'm good at that, but I'm trying very hard to become more humble and more accepting to other points of views, to other people, and try to listen to their story rather than, you know, just looking at everyone from my own point of view. So
Yes.
um, this actually, I am very grateful for the opportunity which I'm given um, by the universe to be able to experience that.
Yes, I am on the same page with you here. I love traveling. I love learning new cultures. I don't know how this is instilled in me or in us. Is it a type of personality? Is everybody into different cultures? But you know, I when I encountered with new people, my eyes are just sparkling. Like, okay, what's gonna we learn now? Not just about being learning things, but being curious about other people, their type of living culture, and it certainly broadens your way of thinking, your perspective, and it gives a good quality in your coaching also.
Uh, Maybe, as you mentioned, right? Maybe it's a quality of a coach. Be curious, and people who are naturally curious are drawn in the profession because it allows them to just continue being curious.
Yes, yes, exactly. Yeah. Oh, I love asking questions. Like, when I see my daughters growing up asking too many questions, I remember my own childhood not as much as I can remember my own child's questions, of course. But I'm asking my mother also, was I a child, like this, asking? So, of course, she said, do you know any child that doesn't ask questions? So we are the grown up childs as coaches, never stop asking those questions.
Yeah, 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 that is true. I bought one fairy tale in India. about a local tribal girl, and this story is called "Why Girl." It
Mm.
is about a girl who kept asking questions.
But why?
But why? But why? Exactly.
Yeah. Well, it is not our job to ask why questions as coach, but yeah. Oh, so my last question. In your coaching journey, you have accumulated extensive experience and certifications, including PSMY, PSM2, and ACC level certification according to ICF standards. How do you continue to enhance your coaching skills and stay up to date with the latest trends and practices in the coaching field? And the second part of the question, could you share an instance where your commitment to continuous learning led to a breakthrough in your coaching approach?
Um, well, what do I do? I continuously, I don't want to say continuously, but every year I study something. I enroll in a course and I either study just coaching or team coaching, or my recent course was existential coaching with Alfred Langle, Austrian psychotherapist. So I keep I keep my eyes open about what is going on, what is new, and uh, go to different educations and mentorings and supervisions. Uh, at the same time, what I've learned is that just studying will not bring you much. You need to put it what you learned in practice. So getting more clients, practicing new things, seeing some patterns from client to client, that allows me to get this aha moment and compare it to the education, or like to some points in the education which were shared with me, but I took it for granted. As you know, when we study, we study that, but we didn't experience that. When I have the practical confirmation, then it combines, and then I internalize this part of the education. So this is how I do. I study, but then I put it for sure to practice. I invent something sometimes, and try it with my clients and ask them for the feedback. Does it work for them? Does it help them to progress? If it does, then I try it again with different people. If it doesn't, then we try something new. But um, I would say I keep experimenting and keep getting the feedback from the clients, and yeah, and keep growing my personal experience, my personal style.
Executing the learnings is the best way of, enhancing your learning. Probably now, while you're talking, I understand why companies always wanted 3 years experience at the beginning, or why they are looking for new employees. I'm like, how can I have an experience before I start with some company? But I understand their point of view now. Whatever we learn at the university for 4 years doesn't give us anything at all. After we start working and practicing what we learn in the company, then we get it. Okay, this is how it's going on. And you learn the
Exactly.
relationship with other colleagues and everything. It's all totally different game in the working environment. So yeah, what you said
Exactly.
resonates so much. So thank you for your time, Katia. Is there any last message you would like to add?
Um, I would say to all our audience who will ever see this interview, this discussion, I would I would sincerely wish you to get to get a helping, supporting professional, either a coach or a psychotherapist or a psychologist, this figure with whom you can share your thoughts, structure your mind, untangle your mess in your head, and come out wiser and stronger. So this is my message to everyone.
This gave me goosebumps. Really, I loved it. Untangle your mess and become wiser. Thank you so much, Katya. This was an insightful and beautiful conversation with you. Due to beginning problems, everything set aside, it turned out very, very beautiful. 40 minutes of discussion with you. Thank you so much. I would like our audience to subscribe our channel if you haven't already for further 5 o'clock tea talks, and leave comments, ask questions for whatever, whoever you would like to see, send us messages, and have a lovely day. Take care. Have a
Thank
nice
you
day.
so much and enjoy the